Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm finally going to take the throttle body off the truck. So if you remember from the seafoam video I did, you know I didn't take the throttle body off. I'm going to take it off today for a couple of reasons and also deep clean it. I know I've been having some running issues and I've been wanting to change the throttle position sensor and the idle air control valve on it since I've bought it, and actually a couple days ago it finally threw a code for the throttle position sensor. So I got throttle position sensor, Motorcraft, a IAC, and then Velcro gaskets, all from Rock Auto. Which, by the way, get your stuff from Rock Auto. All that stuff cost me shipped $112 versus going to the parts store, which would have had to order stuff in anyway because they don't carry the Motorcraft stuff. Would have been closer to $100 per item. Except for the gaskets. The gaskets are cheap. Anyway, let's get to it. I should be nice. Just jump in here real quick. I don't know where I'm going to put this in the video, but here are the part numbers. These are Felpro gaskets. That's the part number for the throttle body. It's a number for what they're calling the air bypass, which is the IAC or idle air control valve. And this is your idle air control valve, Motorcraft part number. And this, they're calling it a potentiometer, but this is your Motorcraft part number for the throttle position sensor. Thought I'd be a doll and share that with you guys real quick. Alright, one thing I want to say, this is a 15-year-old camera, so bear with me on the quality of this video, but it's all I got and I didn't want to use my phone. Before we get started, it's pretty simple. Obviously you're going to have to take the intake off, or the intake tubes, sorry, and stuff like that. But this and this hose down here is actually a coolant hose, so just be careful of that. My coolant is a little low, so I don't know how much coolant is going to be going through there, but I am going to have to take those off because I want to take the throttle body all the way off and to clean it. So anyway, let's get started taking it apart. First thing you're going to want to do, since we're changing out sensors, and I'm going to do a base auto reset on this truck, I'm going to remove the negative battery cable. Let that sit the whole time while we're replacing these parts. Now you can either let it sit, you can, I've heard of turning the headlights on to drain the power and stuff like that, or hit the brake pedal a couple times. Also what you can do, if it's long enough, you can actually stretch this cable over here. You can see what I'm doing. Also stretch this cable over here all the way to the positive cable to release all the charge in the system. some of these tools I already have available, because I took this apart a couple days ago to check the throttle position sensor. My voltages seem to be alright, but my ohms were a little bit off. And I don't know what brand or whatever, because I know this stuff's been changed on this truck before. So go back with Ford Motorcraft. Try to only get Motorcraft parts for these trucks, BWD and all that stuff that you get mostly from auto parts stores. Don't work right. And for your intake tubes here, it is a 5/16, and that's out of focus. Or a straight blade screwdriver, whichever you prefer. Alright. Let's see, probably do this one next here. I believe this is just a clip, but you don't pry up on it, you pull toward you, I do believe. Let's see if I can get a better look at that myself. Well, I take that back, you do pull up on it. Be gentle with it, don't break it. These parts are 25 years old, so but you do pull straight up on that, I'm sorry. Alright, so some of these trucks might have this little plate. It looks like this is the EGR valve, and it looks like there's two nuts here, so I'm going to try and take that off, because this whole thing is going to get in the way of me getting this thing off here. The other reason for taking the throttle body off, I guess I should mention this. For the IAC, you don't have to take the throttle body off, but these trucks, the 5 liter and the 5.8 liter, this doesn't apply to inline 6s and 460s. But the way they got this set up is this throttle position sensor is down on the bottom, and I believe there's Phillips head screws pointing up, so that's why you need to take this whole throttle body off for that one part. Mustangs and inline 6s and 460s and stuff, I guess all the non-pickup small block V8 engines, they're not like this, so it's the same basic principles and stuff, but being that these are facing up and down on these trucks and the TPS sensor is on the bottom, you got to do all of this. Make sure everything is disconnected and loose. I got all the bolts out, right? Nope, I still have one more down there. Looks like she's going to be stuck a little bit. Lovely, I got coolant all over my alternator. Alright, so shop ready to go. Alright, I don't have a dead blow hammer, plastic hammer, brass hammer, whatever, something soft, so we're going to take a rag, boom, just like that. She's a little cruddy. In here though, ooh, that's dirty. So anyway, there it is. There's your throttle position sensor, and then we're also going to be taking care of the IAC here. So cool. Alright, next up we're going to take off the IAC. I can sit up. Alright. Again, it's a a 5/16. A little tough. Let's see how dirty this thing is. Probably not going to be as dirty as I would like it to be, though. I don't know if this has ever been changed out on the truck. Keep that little thing on there. Not too dirty up in there. Alright, now I'm not gonna show this, but I'm gonna clean these two gaskets off. Use this gently and some emery cloth, so I'll be back. Alright, so check that out. Big difference. I did already take the throttle position sensor off. What's going to help you a lot. So this is the throttle position sensor, and these are the screws, and you can see that these are just Phillips. Take a screwdriver that, as close as you can, what you have fits those screws, and these are probably going to be really stuck in there and it's going to want to strip out. Put your screwdriver in there, right? And then take a hammer and bash the screwdriver, kind of like an impact tool. And you can actually hear it kind of pop a little bit, and then you should be able to take the screws out. Do not strip those screws. Alright, we got it all cleaned up. Now, one thing I will say, if you're looking at this and you read this sticker, if it'll zoom, it says, "Do not clean inside the throttle body." Well, when these trucks were new, these were Teflon coated on the inside, supposedly to help self-clean the gunk. As you can see, originally when I took this thing off, 25 years, that does not work so well. So, clean your throttle body. Alright. The IAC is going to be self-explanatory. There's a gasket, and you just put that back on. This here can be a little tricky. What you need to do, don't deuce this up. Now mine, I don't know, sometimes there's a shim, and mine's been replaced before. I don't know if there was originally a shim or not, but what you're going to do is you're going to put this on here. So you see the little, looks like the flat blade screwdriver. That's the throttle. That mates up to those little pegs in there. And you want to get that lined up. Just so. So what you're going to do, you're going to put this on here, and you're going to turn it clockwise. That's going to make sure you get them on the right side. Clockwise. Do not turn this thing counterclockwise. You put it on there and then you turn it clockwise. And then you just tighten up the screws from there. Alright, so what we're doing right now is we're going to check the voltage signal from the TPS sensor before we finalize everything, if I need to make some fine adjustments. They say anywhere between, I think, 0.6 of a volt and all the way up to like a 1.28 volts is the within spec, but a lot of people, especially the Fox body guys and even the Ford guys, say are probably 9.3 to 9.8 is where you want to be, and it's usually about right because that's about in the middle of the spec range. You don't want to be extreme. What this is I went to the junkyard and I got basically two truck wiring harness and then another TPS sensor, and made this little jumper here, which makes life a lot easier. Go to the junkyard, it's free. Just cut that connector where the TPS plugs into the engine harness on both sides, and there you go. I got two alligator clip wires running to my voltmeter, and let's see what happens when we turn on the key. Now this, you're not going to start the truck, obviously. You're just going to key on, engine off. And it looks like I'm at 8.57. And let's see how it does. I'm not going to be able to do this here. When we rotate the throttle. It needs to be close to 5. 4.8, 4.4.88. It's a little low. Wonder. I might need to waddle this thing out a little bit to get it more to where I like it. But let's see here. I know you can turn this thing a little bit. Alright, so I got it at 0.93. .672. Check it a couple times. Make sure everything is going to work. It's going to read different each time because this is a mechanical device and doesn't precisely line up. The power is smooth. .6 volts, that's good. Alright, so we're good with our adjustment. I'm sitting at 0.955, which I like. Anything, it'll just run like it did before. Alright, so I gotta take this thing off now. Alright, take this back over to the table. But yes, especially if you don't like back probing or anything, if you got any older Ford, Mustang, truck, it doesn't matter. Free testing device right here. Take this off. I will show you guys without breaking the new fucking sensor. Alright. So, what this was originally, I take these off. It's basically the same connector as what's on the truck and what's on the new throttle position sensor backwards. So this is what's on the truck, this is what's on the throttle position sensor. Those are the connectors you're doing, right? Go to the junkyard, snip this off of a truck in the junkyard. It is a free and quality testing tool. You don't have to do any back probing. Plus it gives you more wire, so there's more room to test stuff. So, finish putting this thing back together, and I will catch you later. Alright, I haven't gotten it tightened down, I just got the nuts started. Real quick on this, when you're putting this back on, remember to put this on there. I don't think I'm going to try it again because the piece that was originally, this is for one of these clips, and what went there was the connector for that, and as you can see my connector was already broken off, so this wasn't even really getting used, so I'll just save it and put it back on another day. Anyway, I found it. It was sitting there right on the ground where I left it. Duh. Alright. Should I put this on first, or should I reroute the wires first? I guess we'll find out. I'm not even sure what the hell this was for. I'm not even sure how it's really supposed to go on here. seems to fit better like that than the way it was before. I think it was like that before. Don't think it matters. I don't think anything was actually connected to this. Probably used to be for something, but ain't no more. Sorry about that. My 2 GB memory card got full, so I put another one in there. You didn't miss anything because I heard the camera go off. So, what size was this? This size. Why am I even putting this thing back on here? I don't know. Nothing was actually attached to this thing. Seems like it fits a little bit better like that. So now I got this wiring over here, tucked over here, out of the way. Probably get this plugged in here first. That back up under there, like that. And I have this stuff. Probably actually going in there like that. That's a little tight. Thing back over here. Plug that vacuum line back in. Just like that. And it goes in there like that. Seems like it fits better there like that, doesn't it? I think they had that upside down. That's connected. That's connected. That's connected. By the way, that was the little piece I was talking about right there. It was on there like that, or backwards like that, but that's broke. Alright. coolant lines back on. Probably should have did this first. Make sure it's all the way on there. I hate hose clamps. Still good like that, looks like it. I know some people block these off. Not really too sure why there's coolant going through here. I know you can delete it, but it makes no sense since it's fuel injected. It's not like it's a carburetor needing to warm up. People delete them off the carburetors too because it affects overall performance. It makes the air intake temperature too hot. But why this is even on here with a fuel injected system, no idea. Alright. Put this clamp back together. Do I have another one? Perfect. The hell? This thing's stuck in there now. Alright, got the new hose clamp. Should be able to fucking stick in there. No, it's too tight. At least the sun finally came out. Like it was going to rain earlier today. All right. Is there anything else other than the intake tubes? I don't think so. Come on. There we go. Alright, so that's plugged in. It's plugged in, those are connected. That's back on there, that's on there. That's on there. Alright. I think before we put the intake tubes on. Oh, screw it, let's see how it runs. I'm going to disconnect that first. See if I can get it to run without that. Try to do my base auto reset. I think it has to be warmed up, but we'll see. Oh, where are the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? My pocket. She idles low, look at that. And I got a low battery warning. So, if it dies, hopefully we're about done. All the accessories are off. Right, okay. Going to let it run for 2 minutes. I want to let it run for 2 minutes, turn it off for a minute. Or I think 2 minutes, and then you turn it back on while running all the accessories and everything. So I will see you then. Alright, got some new batteries in the camera. One thing that I took off that I didn't show you guys before, and this takes a 7mm socket. I put the intake tube and everything back on already, but this little cover goes over that. There's two Obviously there's one here, and then there's one right up in there, and they're 2 7mm nuts, or not nuts, bolts, screws, whatever you want to say. Alright, let's get this thing up the tent by going to the convenience store and seeing how good she runs. Alright, I'm going to wash up real quick before we go, but I'll get her started on the warming up. You know, lube that belt too. Every single time it rains or I wash this thing, the belt squeaks for a good week, week and a half, and then it shuts up. It's quiet as can be usually. Alright, let's take her out and see if she's better. Does seem like she's idling better. Idles are actually a little bit higher now, so that's some good news. I'm going to do this here. That belt is annoying. supposedly after you disconnect the battery and that sort of thing, you got to drive it for like 6 to 10 miles before it fully relearns the idle when you disconnect the battery. But she is up to temperature. She is idling back down. To me, that she's always idled a little low. I guess we'll try it out now. There we go. Alright, I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, we're back in here. Take her down this road real quick. Let's sit here. Big camera. So yeah, to me it idles a little low. Always has. I guess we'll feel the throttle response. You could kind of feel it bog a little bit when you took off. I'm not even sure I really want to go this way. Seem like there's a little bit smoother power delivery. Drive it normal here. Yeah, it still idles a little low in gear, in my opinion. It should be more right about there, maybe a little bit lower than that. It does seem like it's about the same that it was before. It's always idle just a little bit low. If it could be more like, maybe I should have tried adjusting that screw a little bit when I had it out, but to me it should be, I'm 2-footing it right now. It should be kind of there, maybe a little bit more lower, about right there to me. That's what most of my trucks have been. This one always idles a little bit low. It does seem like it's idling a little bit better, at least a little bit smoother. So maybe when before I dialed in that to get the voltages right on the throttle position sensor, maybe I should have messed with that screw just a little bit. That probably would have been perfect. It does seem like it gets, she does go a little bit better. We'll see. This is also one of those things I gotta drive it for a while to see how everything actually is. But that is probably more. This is probably more the throttle body than the sensors. The throttle body probably helped out a bit. Why is there no turn right there? You see that? I've never seen a don't turn right. The hell's down that road that you can't turn right? You can turn left down that road, you just can't turn right. What kind of nonsense is that? Anyway. Definitely seems a little stronger, but I don't know. Why didn't you turn? Why? Tell me why you didn't turn. It was a nice little bug if you're into those Hitler mobiles. I think that was a Super Beetle. Might be wrong. Well, she's definitely not running worse. I want to say she's actually running a little bit better. Not quite the way I was kind of really wanting to get it to run, but some of that I should have, instead of adjusting the throttle position sensor, I probably should have, when it was like 0.8 volts, I probably should have turned the idle screw a little bit, increasing the idle ever so slightly, and doing it that way. So I don't know. But anyway, let me get back to the house here, and I'll get back with you. Alright, I'm back home. It's not running absolutely how I would have hoped, but it does seem to be less hesitation, and it does seem to be running a little bit better. I might try later on using this stuff, which is basically the normal seafoam, but the normal seafoam isn't in a spray bottle. They kind of try and clean up the intake. Now that they got the valve body clean, you're actually supposed to use this little doodad here and spray it into the valve, or the throttle body, I mean, and clean the intake. So I might try that later on. I have already seafoamed the truck, as you saw in a previous video. So yeah. I know we had some flooding here recently, and I had the hubs submerged. I've already got them soaking already, but I am going to have to repack the wheel bearings here eventually. I'll probably make a video of that if I can. Need to do that sooner rather than later. So anyway, she's all good now. Till the next one. Bye.